The story of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam. Imagine a man who fell into a deep sleep for an entire century, only to awaken and find the world completely transformed. His family had long passed away, and his people no longer recognized him. This is the extraordinary story of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, as mentioned in the narrations of Ibn Asakir and other scholars, a man known for his deep knowledge of the Torah, and a witness to the destruction of Jerusalem at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. Then, by Allah's command, he was resurrected, a miracle that shook human understanding of life and faith, a journey between death, resurrection, and divine power, one that continues to inspire believers to this day. Dear brothers and sisters, before we begin this remarkable story, we invite you to stay with us until the end, so that its message is clear and complete. The essence of this story is rooted in the Holy Quran, supported by historical narrations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or corrections in the comments. And now, Bismillah, let's begin. The noble lineage of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam. The name of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, holds a special place in the history of Bani Israel, even though he is not among the 25 prophets explicitly mentioned in the Quran. According to the narration reported by Ibn Asakir, his full name was Uzair ibn Jura, though other traditions list variations such as Uzair ibn Surai ibn Adi ibn Aub ibn Dara, and so on, all tracing his lineage back to Prophet Harun, Aaron, Alaihissalam, the brother of Prophet Musa, Moses, Alaihissalam. It was through this noble bloodline that the light of prophecy flowed strongly, carrying with it the sacred duty of preserving Allah's guidance among a people who had begun to stray. Childhood and early devotion. From a young age, Uzair, Alaihissalam, was known for his intelligence, curiosity, and dedication to learning. In his household, the Torah was treated as a sacred trust, carefully preserved and studied. But the society around him was changing. The laws of Allah were still recited, yet no longer followed. Many among the children of Israel began to alter divine teachings to suit their own desires. Uzair's father, a wise man devoted to the Torah, would often remind his son, O Uzair, the Torah is a light, a book revealed to your forefathers, Musa, Alaihissalam, and Harun, Alaihissalam. Never allow that light to fade, even if your people turn away. Hearing these words, young Uzair lowered his head in humility, his eyes shining with resolve. Father, he said, I will guard the Torah. I will memorize it so that even if its pages are lost, its light will remain alive within my heart. His father, moved to tears, recognized that these were not just the words of a child, but the promise of one destined for prophethood. A seeker of divine knowledge as he grew, Uzair, Alaihissalam, devoted himself to learning. He would sit among the scholars of Bani Israel, listening intently to lessons about the Torah. One day, one of his teachers asked him, Uzair, do you know what draws a servant closest to Allah? Without hesitation, he replied, knowledge, because knowledge is light, and that light belongs to Allah. Whoever seeks knowledge is walking the path to his Lord. The teacher and the students were astonished. Such wisdom from one so young could only be a gift from Allah. From that day, Uzair became known not only for his intellect, but also for the purity of his heart. A twin in faith, Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, had a twin brother named Azra, with whom he shared a deep bond. Together, they studied the Torah and strengthened each other in faith. One night, Azra saw his brother awake in prayer, reciting the Torah even after a long day of study. He asked, My brother, why do you continue reading so late? You've already memorized so much today. Uzair smiled gently and said, I fear forgetting it, and each time I recite, I feel as though Musa, Alaihissalam, and Harun, Alaihissalam, are still among us, guiding us with the light of revelation. Hearing this, Azra wept softly and replied, May Allah keep you steadfast, my brother. You remind me to stay firm whenever I feel weak. Together, they were like two lamps shining in a world growing dark. The guardian of the Torah. One of Uzair's special gifts was his ability to rewrite and preserve the Torah manuscripts that had begun to disappear or become fragmented. He was not only a memorizer, but a skilled scribe. Some historians even say that Uzair, Alaihissalam, led a great assembly that gathered and recopied the sacred scriptures from different regions. As he wrote, he would often pray, "O Allah, if you decree that this nation should lose the light of your book, then make me your pen. Allow me to rewrite what you revealed to your prophet Musa, Alaihissalam." Even though Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, knew the path of guiding his people would be difficult, he found solace in his prayer. He understood that the religion of Allah would never perish as long as his words were preserved. Yet his heart ached, for the majority of the children of Israel had strayed far from the Torah. They had twisted the laws, declaring what was forbidden as permissible and what was lawful as forbidden, committing sins openly without shame. In the markets, they traded religion for profit. A man would call out, "Pay me in gold and I will issue a ruling making this lawful for you." Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, stood among them, his face heavy with sorrow. Raising his voice, he warned, "O my people, the Torah is not for sale. It is Allah's covenant with our ancestors. Return to the right path before punishment strikes." But they only laughed and mocked him. "Be quiet, Uzair. This religion no longer serves us. We follow our own desires now. Do not disturb our pleasure." Holding back tears, Uzair, Alaihissalam, whispered to Allah, "O Lord, grant me strength even if my people hate me. Let me remain steadfast in calling to your guidance." Meanwhile, the signs of Allah's impending punishment were appearing. In the distance, the great Babylonian army, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, Balkhta-Nassar, prepared to besiege Jerusalem. Historical records describe an army of 600,000 soldiers advancing toward the city. Yet the people of Israel paid no heed, preoccupied with their worldly disputes and corrupted interpretations of the law. One night, Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, left his home and climbed a small hill overlooking Jerusalem. His heart was heavy with grief. "O Jerusalem, city once meant to shine as a light for the world, now you will fall because of the sins of your people." Azra, his twin brother, approached and placed a hand on his shoulder. "My brother, how long will you weep for a people who will not listen?" Uzair's eyes glistened with tears. "Until Allah himself stops these tears," he replied, "until he shows them the meaning of true loss." Soon, news arrived. The Babylonian army was at the gates. The sound of war drums reverberated across the land, filling the air with tension. Panic spread among the people, but it was too late. Their hearts had hardened, and their prayers went unanswered because of their arrogance and rebellion. Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, prayed softly, his voice barely audible, "O Lord, preserve your light. Even if our bodies are destroyed, do not let your book be extinguished. Even if this city is annihilated, let your guidance endure." That night, the sky above Jerusalem darkened. Stars hid behind heavy clouds as the roar of the approaching army shook the earth. Thousands of soldiers marched, and war drums beat relentlessly, a force the weakened, divided, and sinful people of Israel could not withstand. The attack began. Jerusalem, once a city of grace and worship, became a city of fire and blood. Nebuchadnezzar commanded, "Destroy everything! Leave nothing sacred. Tear down their house of worship. Let them see the powerlessness of their gods." Walls crumbled under massive hammers. Houses were burned, and cries of despair echoed through the streets. Fire consumed homes and holy books alike. Blood flowed like rivers, and screams of women and children filled the air. Those who sought shelter found none. Every door was broken down, and lives were taken mercilessly. The greatest tragedy struck at the main house of worship, where 40,000 scholars of the Torah had gathered. These guardians of the sacred text clutched the scrolls, praying for protection. But the Babylonian soldiers stormed in, killing without mercy, and the holy manuscripts, preserved since the time of Musa, Alaihissalam, and Harun, Alaihissalam, were thrown into the flames. One man cried out in despair, "Where is our Allah? Why is his house destroyed? Why are the Torah's pages burning before our eyes?" These words pierced the heart of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam. Standing amidst the ruins, his body trembling, he understood the truth. This was not because Allah had abandoned his people, but because the people had abandoned Allah long ago. Turning to those who mourned, he said, "This is the consequence of our sins. Allah is never weak, but we are, because we betrayed his covenant." But Prophet Uzair's, Alaihissalam, words could not stop the relentless swords of the Babylonians. For 3 days the city ran red with blood. 1/3 of the population was killed, 1/3 taken captive, and 1/3 left behind, homeless, leaderless, and without the Holy Torah. Narrations report that about 100,000 young men, including Prophet Uzair, were rounded up. Their hands were bound as they were forced to march for days toward Babylonia. Those who slowed were struck with whips. "Move faster, worthless slaves," shouted the soldiers. "You will serve our kings." During the journey, Uzair whispered to the young men around him, "Be patient, my brothers. Allah is still with us. Do not let your faith be taken from your hearts. Even if your bodies are enslaved, your souls belong to him." Some wept openly, others wailed in despair. Upon reaching Babylonia, the captives were divided among Nebuchadnezzar's subordinate kings, each receiving 4 young men as slaves. Prophet Uzair was separated from his twin brother Azra and his family. Their farewell was heartrending. Azra embraced him tightly. "Brother, will we meet again?" Holding back tears, Uzair replied, "If not in this world, then in the hereafter. Hold firmly to Allah's name and never let go." The years in Babylonia tested him greatly. Prophet Uzair was forced to serve in the palace of a nobleman, carrying heavy loads by day and cleaning by night. Yet in the quiet of the night he raised his hands in prayer. "O Lord, though I am far from my homeland, and though the Torah has been burned, do not let your light fade from my heart." He recited the verses of the Torah he had memorized, preserving them in his heart even as the manuscripts were destroyed. One by one, those who had remembered the sacred text passed away in exile. But Uzair's faith remained unshaken. Looking up at the Babylonian night sky, full of stars, he prayed, "O Allah, only you can restore your book. If you will it, you can resurrect what has been destroyed." This prayer became his strength day by day, and indeed Allah saved him. Years passed. Nebuchadnezzar, once mighty and feared, met his downfall. According to narrations, a tiny mosquito entered his brain, causing madness and eventual death in humiliation. Babylonia's empire crumbled and the captives scattered. It was then that Allah freed Prophet Uzair from slavery. He set out alone on the long journey back to his homeland. Riding a donkey, he crossed deserts, valleys, and mountains, his heart yearning for Jerusalem. Though he feared the city might lie in ruins, he pressed on. Finally, he reached the outskirts of the holy city, and his knees nearly gave way. The houses were destroyed, the pillars of the house of worship lay in rubble, and the streets were filled with dust and bones. Silence reigned, broken only by the whisper of the wind carrying the scent of death. Uzair dismounted slowly, stepping among the ruins. His eyes scanned the devastation. He stopped where the house of worship had once stood. Trembling, he whispered, "How can Allah bring this city back to life after such destruction?" This question, full of awe and wonder, is mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 259. It was not doubt, only recognition of Allah's power. How could a ruined city, whose people were scattered and whose holy books were burned, ever live again? Tears ran down his cheeks as he sat among the fallen stones, looking to the heavens. "O Allah, you are almighty. If you can raise the dead, then surely you can restore this city. Let me witness your greatness." Exhausted from the long journey, Uzair leaned against a dry tree trunk. His donkey was tied nearby, and beside him lay a basket of dates and a jug of water. The cold night seeped into his bones. With heavy eyes, he prayed softly, "O Lord, you who hold power over life and death, make me a witness to your greatness." And then, Allah caused him to sleep. His soul was taken to a hidden realm while his body remained in that place. Days turned to weeks, weeks to years, and years into a full century, unseen by any human eye. Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, slept for a full 100 years. The donkey that had accompanied him on his journey waited faithfully in the early days, grazing for scraps of grass left behind. But as days passed without its master waking, It grew weak and eventually died of starvation, its body lying there until only white scattered bones remained. Yet the food and water that Uzair had brought with him remained untouched, preserved by Allah as a sign of His power. The dates were still fresh, the jug of water full, a miracle demonstrating that time is but a decree of Allah. Jerusalem, once destroyed by the Babylonians, lay in ruins. Dust covered the streets, and the lonely calls of owls filled the night. Decades later, Allah inspired King Cyrus the Great of Persia to rebuild the city. Thousands of workers labored for 30 years to repair the walls, rebuild homes, and restore the house of worship. When the city thrived once more, Uzair, Alaihissalam, was still asleep, untouched by humans, animals, or birds, until 100 years had passed. Then Allah commanded the angel Gabriel to awaken him. A soft, radiant light descended from the sky, enveloping his body. Uzair slowly moved his hands, opened his eyes, and breathed deeply, as if he had only slept for a single night. Yet everything around him had changed. Trees had grown, streets were alive, and the distant sounds of human life filled the air. The angel spoke, his voice both gentle and commanding. "O Uzair, how long have you slept here?" Confused, Uzair replied, "A day? Or perhaps half a day?" The angel corrected him, "No, you have been here for 100 years. Look at your food and drink, they are unchanged. But see your donkey, it has turned to bones." Turning, Uzair saw the truth. His donkey was nothing but scattered bones. Trembling, he listened as the angel continued, "Now watch how Allah brings them back to life." Before his eyes, the donkey's bones began to move. The skeleton reassembled, muscles and tendons formed, flesh covered its frame, and finally, skin enveloped it. In an instant, the donkey stood alive, braying loudly as if it had just been born. Uzair, Alaihissalam, fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "I am certain," he cried, "I am certain that Allah has power over all things." He realized that if Allah could resurrect bones turned to dust, He could also restore a ruined city. Mounted once more on his donkey, Uzair observed the basket of fresh dates and the full jug of water, proof that life and death, time and decay are all under Allah's command. He began his journey back to his homeland, his heart pounding with questions. Would anyone remember him after a century? Would people recognize him? When he reached his village, everything looked unfamiliar. Houses had changed, and the people were new generations. Children played in the streets, and elders sat outside their homes, none recognizing him. Uzair whispered to himself, "Will they believe me if I claim to be Uzair? How can it be after 100 years? Yet he pressed on, determined to reintroduce himself and carry the message of Allah, strengthened by the miracle he had just witnessed. Walking slowly through the village, he approached an old house. Outside sat a frail, blind woman, her hair white and her body frail. Uzair recognized her immediately. Mina, his faithful servant from long ago. "Oh, Mina," he called softly. "Do you still recognize me?" Mina paused, trembling. "Who are you, stranger? My master Uzair disappeared 100 years ago. He never returned." Tears filled Uzair's eyes. He stepped closer and gently took her hand. "Oh, Mina, listen to me. I am Prophet Uzair. Allah caused me to sleep for 100 years and has now returned me to life. I come to you not as a stranger, but as your master." Mina drew back, shocked and trembling. "Impossible! Uzair is gone. Even his grandchildren are now old. How can you say such a thing?" Uzair lowered his head, then spoke with firm conviction. "Give me a sign, and I will pray to Allah that you may see again." Mina whispered through her tears. Uzair was a prophet whose prayers were always answered. "If you truly are Uzair, ask Allah to restore my sight." Uzair looked up to the sky, tears streaming down his cheeks, and prayed, "O Allah, you who give sight to the blind and life to the dead, restore this woman's eyes so she may witness your truth." Gently he wiped her eyes, and Mina could see again, a living testament to Allah's power and the miracle of his servant Uzair, Alaihissalam. Instantly, a light from the heavens entered Mina's eyes. She gasped as her vision returned, seeing clearly for the first time in decades. Her face shone with amazement, and she cried out, "Subhanallah! Glory be to Allah! You truly are Uzair. Your face has not changed, even after 100 years. This is a miracle from Allah." Overcome with joy, Mina embraced Prophet Uzair tightly, as if she would never let go. She then led him to the crowd of the children of Israel. People gathered, staring in disbelief. One man whispered doubtfully, "How can this be Uzair? He disappeared 100 years ago." "This man must be an impostor," Mina shouted over the crowd. "Listen to me. My sight has been restored by his prayer. Who else but Uzair could call upon Allah in such a way?" The people grew restless, murmuring among themselves. Among them was Uzair's own son, now over 118 years old, walking with difficulty toward the man before him. Tears streamed down his face as he said, "If you are truly my father, there is a mark on your back, a black crescent-shaped mark between your shoulder blades." Uzair turned and allowed his son to see the mark. It was exactly as it had been. The crowd fell silent, some stunned, others beginning to believe. Yet the leaders of the children of Israel were skeptical. One challenged him, "We will only believe if you can recite the entire Torah from memory. That book was burned and lost 100 years ago by Nebuchadnezzar. If you are truly Uzair, prove it." Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, closed his eyes and prostrated, humbly praying, "O Allah, you who revealed the Torah to Prophet Musa, Alaihissalam, return its knowledge to my heart, so I may bear witness to the truth for my people." Suddenly, a radiant light descended from the sky. It entered his mouth and chest. His body trembled, his face shone, and he rose to his feet. Then, with a clear and powerful voice, he recited the Torah flawlessly, verse by verse, without a single error. The people were astounded. The recitation matched exactly what had been preserved in the few copies that survived. An elderly man recalled, "I heard from my grandfather that a copy of the Torah was buried in a clay pot before the Babylonian attack. It was recently discovered, and its contents perfectly matched the recitation of Uzair." Some wept with gratitude and prostrated before Allah, exclaiming, "This is a miracle. Allah has returned the Torah through Uzair." Yet, as always, a few fell into misguided disbelief, whispering, "Uzair is not just a prophet, he is the son of Allah." Allah directly rebuked such claims in the Quran, and the Jews say, "Uzair is the son of Allah." Surah At-Tawbah 9:30. From that day onward, Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, lived among his people. He corrected their errors, taught the Torah from memory, and re-established Allah's laws. His people came to call him Al-Musa, the restorer of truth. According to various narrations, Prophet Uzair's lifespan after resurrection is reported differently. Some say 30 years, others 50 or 75. He lived with his twin brother Azra until his passing. Prophet Uzair is remembered not only as a prophet, but also as a great scholar who saved the Torah from extinction. Several locations are said to house his grave. In Al-Zariah, Bethany, on the west bank of the Jordan River, Palestine, where Masjid Uzziah Mosque stands, and in Amara near Basra in Iraq. These sites remain places of respect and visitation today. The story of Prophet Uzair, Alaihissalam, is a clear proof that life and death are solely by Allah's will. Being put to sleep for 100 years and resurrected, along with his donkey, demonstrates Allah's power over all creation. More than that, the miracle of restoring the Torah shows that Allah can return lost guidance to serve as a light for humanity. Yet even amid miracles, some went astray, claiming divinity for Uzair, a warning that gratitude and faith must always be measured, and honor must never exceed the limits of creation. From this story, we learn, remain steadfast in faith, trust in Allah's power, and be grateful for His guidance. Truly, Allah has power over all things.